Selective outrage is when individuals aggressively confront a particular aspect of an issue while consciously ignoring or refusing to address other aspects of that same issue. The Black Lives Matter movement confronts police brutality and black deaths committed by police while consciously refusing to address black-on-black violence. And when individuals practice the diversionary tactic of selective outrage, you can usually find an underlying covert agenda. I mean, let's look at the shit logically. How can you say Black Lives Matter, but never address the black abortion rate here in America? Or the fact that the percentage of black-on-black death is at 94%. You know there are so-called black women out here screaming Black Lives Matter and have had multiple abortions. There are so-called black men out there who perpetrate death and violence against other so-called black men, and they are screaming Black Lives Matter. How does that make sense? It only makes sense in the minds of completely irrational thinkers. I call them stupid motherfuckers. But that goes back to my point about selective outrage. We're the side of cognitive dissonance. You can't say that Black Lives Matter without addressing every issue that is opposed to the importance of black lives. When you make the choice to go outside of the scripted agenda of Black Lives Matter and address issues that directly reflect how we treat each other. Oh, that nigga coonin'! Sambo ass nigga. Shoe shine, shoe shine. Now do you see why no one takes you seriously?
The following program is rated TVMA. Viewer discretion is advised.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. Somebody gotta say this shit, so this a bitch. Fuck your government. I'm hesitant to holler out that I'm in. I represent hollow points and Mac tears. But don't think them shots coming out of them. Last thing that you see is Nat Turner's grin. I'm a savage, not your average white boy, my friend. We ain't shooting. Fuck red, white, and blue. Earth they nerves like militias in the booth. Spit that word like there was a nigga too. Get that herb like I need a blunt or two. Fuck y'all all, each and every one of you. You niggas wanna stay asleep. Fuck you motherfuckers too. All you niggas ain't loyal. Fuck the government soil. Bring heat to the planet to this motherfucker boil. There's no more talk. Through the grave y'all walk. I talk for the slaves from the grave. It's war.
The only way to make sure a vampire is dead is to strike the stake twice. And that's what I'm here to do. Oh, after this one, it's gonna be a dead topic. We killing this right here today. Right here and now. Oh, and in killing this topic right here, I feel good about it. Oh, yes, I do. I feel good about it. I'm back at it. I'm back on these bitches' heads. Yes, I am. All three of these bitches. Oh, we ain't done. We ain't done. So this is a review show. This is a review show. I am fact checking my own work, and in this, I find it satisfying. I am satisfied with the fact that I'm pretty good at researching. I'm pretty good, you know. Wasn't good enough to stay focused in high school, but you live and you learn. This is a cam up show also. This is a call-in cam up show. Cam call in. But the way my shit works is you will show me who you are backstage. You would cam up, show me who you are. You would cam up on the screen. And you will not cam down until I will allow you to do so. Then you can talk your shit and, you know, in the back end, behind the black, I should say, behind the black. Yeah. But that's how it's going to work on my show. And my show is Somebody Gotta Say This Shit. As you know, I go by the name Irk the Nerve, aka Mr. Somebody. Yeah, and again, I'm satisfied with my work right now. I'm satisfied with the things that I'm doing as far as these podcasts. You know, my chat room ain't popping. That's fine. That's fine because the rebroadcast, the subject matter, the content itself is worth more than gold. There's a wise content creator on these YouTube streets known as Tough Love, and he's the first man I've ever heard say, your content is your character. And it makes sense to me because my character, you know, it is what it is. But you can see it through my content. Again, I am Irk the Nerve, aka Mr. Somebody, and we are back on that ass with a review show. Blatant, lucrative manipulations. I started the show again the way I started the first one with a video that I recorded in 2014, and it was originally an IG post. Um, Black Lives Matter. During that time, Black Lives Matter jumped on the screen, jumped on the scene, um, and got and gained popularity in 2014. Now understand, the hashtag was created. The hashtag was created during the Trayvon Martin uh, trial, the acquittal of George Zimmerman, that piece of shit. But that's when the hashtag itself was created. A statement was made on Facebook. This statement right here was made on Facebook after the acquittal of George Zimmerman. And the last sentence of that statement, Black Lives Matter, was made into a hashtag by this woman. Oh, why did I say woman? Let me take that back. Can I take it back? I'm going to say female humanoid. Again, in my opinion, woman is an honorary term. So I don't think this female humanoid deserves such honor. So again, we are here to review the facts of the matter, and I have some good friends that's going to join me and share their opinions as well. We're going to nip this in the bud. We're going to make sure you understand that Black Lives Matter from the very beginning is a scam. Maybe the statement that was displayed on Facebook by Miss Garza was genuine at that time. But I would argue that everything after that was straight front organization bullshit. And I have data information to prove so. Yes, I do. And with that being said, I'm going to introduce my guy, Walski.
Yeah, man.
Again, man, we back at it with the facts.
Oh yeah, just another good Sunday afternoon full of facts. That's how we do around here.
I just want to make sure that the people understand that, see, I did this video. I did this video on what would have been a face-to-face Friday, but the subject matter was too deep to be a face-to-face Friday. So I just did the subject matter itself and called it Blatant Lucrative Manipulations, playing off of the BLM abbreviation. Um, there was I'm very proud of the information that I was given, sharing within that show. But there was one mistake that I have to clarify. And off of that one error, I had to re-fact check. I fact checked myself, G. I made sure, like, hold on. Yeah, and it's great. It's great to constantly be in doubt, because when you're constantly in doubt, you're constantly checking yourself.
Well, yeah,
Self-analysis.
and this thing, somehow we've come to the point in life where if you say something and say it wrong, or you get something, just a bit of information a little skewed, people will try to hold, like, you could spit facts for 5 hours. The one wrong word, somebody will try to hold you to it. So, I mean, obviously, it's very beneficial to go back and double check your work, but it's just hilarious to me how people will hold somebody to one miscue or something like that. You know what I mean? Disregarding all the other facts. So, yeah, you pretty much got to fact check yourself now, because one wrong turn and everybody looks at you like none of the information matters.
Exactly. And that is what that's what we try to avoid, because you know we live in a world where people will easily try to discredit you for a simple error that could easily be corrected, and that's a problem. But at the same time, we don't fall into that bullshit. We just get to the subject matter at hand and make sure that it's known that we here for correction, and if need be, we stand corrected.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is Blatant Lucrative Manipulations, a review show. Please, the link is dropped in the chat. I am the Troll Slayer. I came into these YouTube streets announcing myself as the Troll Slayer. Trolls have no mercy here. There's only one troll that I like on these YouTube streets, and I refuse to say his name until I make sure that he is okay. But there is one troll that I like, and the other trolls can die. So with that being said, all trolls, when recognized, will be blocked permanently. But if you want to, cam up, show your face, and join us in this conversation. Again, this is Blatant Lucrative Manipulations. I want to share something with you guys real quick. I want to start off with we're going to start off with this real quick.
Black Lives Matter is our call to action. It is a tool to reimagine a world where Black people are free to exist, free to live. It is a tool for our allies to show up differently for us.
Oh yes, Black Lives Matter is a tool. It is absolutely a tool. Now, again, we're going to make sure that you understand that the actual idea coming into thought began during the tragic events around Trayvon Martin. After George Zimmerman's acquittal, again, the hashtag was born by a woman. Damn it! I keep using that honorary term. Uh, a female humanoid that is
God
a
damn it, Earth the nerve. You better quit respecting these foul creatures.
exactly like, and that's the thing. If we respect the wrong ones, then the ones that deserve respect don't get recognized, and then the shit gets all fucked up. You know what I mean? And that's what's wrong with the world today. Bitches get accepted, bitches get approval, bitches get leadway, and that's what's wrong with the fucking world. But that's one of the many things that is wrong with the world. With that being said, let's see. What's up, Mr. Hyde in the chat? Salute to you. Now, we're going to continue this because it's very important that this is known. The female humanoid that created the hashtag is a Marxist, self-proclaimed Marxist. Not only is she a Marxist, but she is admittedly a part of the LGBTQ community.
Which
Now,
that right there in itself is the most ass backwards hilarious scenario you could think of. So, a so-called political activist on behalf of the so-called black community and a card-carrying member of the LGBTQ community is also a self-proclaimed Marxist. Which, if people out there don't know what Marxist is, the basic idea is the world is split into multiple classes, groups of people. The two main classes are the working class and the ruling class. The
yeah,
working class is exploited by
oh,
the
he's
ruling
explaining some shit.
class. Now, if you're an activism for social justice and you're a Marxist, how do you decipher wanting to split the world into the working class and the ruling class, which you would exploit, and also at the same time fight for the rights of the working class?
Hmm.
On face value, her own definition of herself doesn't make any fucking sense.
If anyone is so inclined, maybe you should read Karl Marx.
Yeah. But you see the hypocrisy? I believe in a political platform where there's two classes, the working and the ruling. But I'm an activist for the downtrodden, the oppressed in my country. But I want to be in a political party where I'm ruling over the oppressed.
Mm, mm.
Funny. And the wildest thing is the thousands, maybe even millions of people who took to this hook, line, and sinker blindly, like just representing and wearing the clothing and wearing and hitting the hashtags and going to the rallies and all this. And by definition, it's a setup.
I agree. I agree. Hey, what up, D? D is a
Yo, what's
fellow
up?
Kentuckian. What's going on, man? I'm gonna make special provisions for this man. He does not have to cam up. I know who he is. He's actually a witness to my entrance on these YouTube streets, which doesn't mean shit, but he knows me on these YouTube streets. So, and I feel like I know him. So he's welcome here at all times. What's up, D? What you say?
What's up, man? A great topic you got going on right here. I don't know the other guy. What's your name, man?
What's up, man? My name is Jay Wall, my friend.
Okay, I think I think I recognize your voice. I think I may have seen you on here before, but anyway, yeah, fuck Black Lives Matter. Uh, people been the real smart people have been calling this shit out for the last few years, man, and it's just funny to see people's reactions that were so that was so on the bandwagon of this bullshit. You know, I mean, they like
Mm.
remember 2 years ago all the rallies and stuff that they had. Those people were destroying properties, destroying just everything, and for what?
Yeah, because
And it's
if many major parts of, let's just talk Ferguson alone, many major parts of Ferguson is not being rebuilt.
mhm.
They don't see the economic turnaround from it. So those are communities. Those are communities that will not be reestablished because of the manipulations of a social a social reaction, taking advantage of, and most politicians do so. And to me, this is pure politics, social political movements playing alongside of big politics and running game on us. So I agree with you.
Yeah, yeah, man. I agree with what you just said, man. It's definitely an undercover type of thing with them, but I just never really understood the whole just phrase anyway. Like Black Lives Matter. Like, yeah, we know that we do matter, but who are they really saying that they matter to? See, this is all about bowing down to the white man. That's what it comes down to. See, these motherfuckers, don't care about no other shit that goes on in the black community. Like, we kill each other more than anybody else. That's just real. Look at the statistics. You know what I mean? But when the white man do something to us, then we ready to rally and do marches and all this other shit. And it's really because black people have been raised to put the white man on a pedestal. Like you ever heard them black people that say shit like, "Oh, don't act like there's white people up here." See, motherfuckers be having that slave mentality, and they don't even realize
You
it,
talk
man.
white.
And it's really sad, huh?
You talk white. Stereotypes like that. You talk white because you're using proper diction and maybe facts. You use you using some facts, so you
Yeah.
talk white.
Yeah, like I've had that happen to me a few times for motherfuckers, but it's never nobody like that's smart that says always someone very fucking ignorant. But yeah, man, that's all this shit's about, man. It's all about bowing down to the white man and being like, oh please, like it's like, do you listen to Chronicles of Judah? You ever heard of him?
I believe so.
This motherfucker always going in on Black Lives Matter. He said all these Black Lives Matter motherfuckers, these supporters, all they want is a hug from the white man. That's all it comes down to, man. Like these motherfuckers. I don't know if you saw like 2 years ago when they was doing all that rallies and shit. Um, it was some people like in the neighborhood and the black people in the neighborhood in a white neighborhood, and they showed the white people actually bowing down to the black people. The black people were just so sad and they were just crying so much, and I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all, man? Like all y'all look foolish right now, man. All of y'all, man. All right, black people need to stop just jumping on some bullshit all the time, man. Actually do their fucking research, man. See, that's the thing with us. We love just we love like what's the word I'm looking for? We love just just like
Symbolic gestures.
representation. We look
Symbolic gestures.
yeah. We love symbolism. Yeah, we love symbolism, but we don't actually love like actually doing a fucking research on what the fuck we're putting on a pedestal. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it's just sad, man. Where the black community is at right now. There's no real leaders and shit.
So we also got to understand that when it comes to the ideology of race itself, it only exists on a platform of sociopolitics. Um, Anywhere else is redundant. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. But when we live in a world full of politics, politics politics basically defines our every step within society. You know, there's regulations, there's policies written, there's things going on because of politics. You can't move, you can't function in society without politics being regulated upon you. Now, with that being said, race itself is a socio-political game. Does not exist outside of that. You can, you know, and the thing is, I will always say that so-called black people will never ever understand the trick that this man played on them. It will take them 2 decades to understand the trick that this man is an honorary term too. Fuck. This male
I told
humanoid.
you quit respecting them fucking creatures.
Man, fuck
You,
Obama.
you're right. You're right. This male humanoid, this piece of
Yeah.
shit right here, has played a very, very foul trick and used racialist politics in order to do so. Very deceptively, very manipulative with his shit. And the thing is, um, a lot of his rhetoric help propel Black Lives Matter into relevancy. When he made this statement during the Trayvon Martin trial.
You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
And the thing is, this is coming from a man that drone bombs men, women, and children in Afghanistan.
Made Libyans slaves.
Oh,
Black people.
mm,
See, that's the thing. The setup is everything they pander to just funnels to the government. Like my guy was saying earlier, he kept saying the cow down, the bow down to the so-called white man. I think that so-called white man really is just a miscommunication of the term. It's the kowtowing and the bow downing to the political party. Period. All the money, all the funding, all the benefits go toward the political party.
facts.
Black Lives Matters owned the streets of America for an entire summer, and the only thing they got out of it was a bumbling idiot in the office.
I'm not even sure if that's really him, dog. Sometimes I'll be watching him and I'll just be like, is this a fucking robot or a clone or some
But here's
shit?
my thing. I've
This
heard
motherfucker.
my whole life the devastation of the 94 crime bill. The
Come on,
devastation.
Mr. Hyde. You know what you're talking about. Mr. Hyde know what he talking about. What Obama do? Turn the blind what? Yeah, okay. Continue on, Jay Walski.
But I've heard this my whole life. I was born in 87, 94 crime bill. I've heard about it my entire life, how devastating it was. Who wrote it? And somehow, I don't believe any politicians got our best interest at heart. I don't think there was anybody to put in office that was going to make our world all peaches and cream. But nevertheless, on face value, the worst of the Democratic runners for the last election was better than Joe Biden. And somehow, not only did he kneecap everybody else on the way to the top, he got mass. People said he's got to be better than Donald Trump. That's his whole way of getting in. He's got to be better than Donald Trump. But this is the guy who wrote the '94 crime bill. But this is the same guy who's supposed to be your social justice warrior and turn the streets around, the combat racism.
Jay Walski, we have a thing called mandatory minimum sentencing because of Joe Biden. Remember when? Hold on. What? Hold on. Remember when the eggplant head ass bitch said super predator? Does anybody remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was all behind that shit. He was all behind that shit.
Another political pundit that fucking panders to the social justice narrative. See, we know this, and we'll put it on blast. People even talk about it, put it on their Facebook, everything. See what Hillary said, see what Joe Biden said, see what he did. But still, when it comes down to every 4 years, vote for these motherfuckers and expect something good to happen out of it.
Yeah. But their political record will show you that they have never been for the people. Now, we absolutely have many examples of those that claim to work in the benefit for the people and absolutely later to find out that they're fucking agents. Correct?
Every time.
I mean, the greatest example. The absolute greatest example of a motherfucker that claims to work in the benefit of the people and his record proves otherwise. The Reverend.
By the way, that motherfucking head is big as shit.
I think they done like cloned his ass.
Oh hell yeah!
I think that's his regular head and spine, and they put that on a whole nother body. He ain't never looked right since he lost that weight. He looked like an alien.
How the fuck you got an 87-year-old head and a fucking 12-year-old body?
That's what I'm saying, man. They done did some fucking what's that movie? The movie where they stir the tea. What the fuck? Get Out. They done did some Get Out shit to this motherfucker.
Boy, that motherfucker right there, he done went through many different type of bodies. Remember that motherfucker looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man at one point in time.
Yeah. And my thing is, see, and the wild thing is with people like this, it's like you just gotta watch the when do they show up? When do you see them on TV? And when do they disappear? It's always the political agenda of the party. You don't see him no other time until it's time to pander and tell everybody, oh, make sure you vote blue.
Yeah, that's another thing, man. I wish the black community would wake the fuck up and understand that the Democratic Party doesn't give a fuck about us at all. Like that Joe Biden campaign was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen, man. Yeah, Kamala Harris, we talking about the '94 crime bill. She talked about, oh yeah, I used to smoke weed to Tupac in high school, even though in college, even though you weren't even in college when they came out. And it's like, damn, if you smoking all this weed, why the fuck you don't let the niggas out there that's locked up forever for weed? Shit. And then you got Biden out here doing interviews with Cardi B. Like that just shows how much they care about us as a people. I mean, that shows how much what they think about us as a people. They think we're so stupid that we're always looking up the rappers and shit. And this bitch is not even black. And I don't even think Joe Biden even knew who the fuck she was, to be honest. Because he's like, what, 80 years old? He didn't know who the fuck he was talking to. And then the main thing.
The most successful fucking prosecutor in California. The bitch was hanging motherfuckers for practically nothing.
Yeah, making sure people did more time so that she could keep them fucking working and shit for fucking pennies. Not only that though, she won an award, and when she first became prosecutor, like she did some big speech. You can look it up, where she was the first Indian woman
Yes,
to make the move she
had,
was making. So that's they. So she pandered that she was the first Indian woman, and then when it was convenient, now she's a so-called black woman.
which absolutely proves that racialist politics is constantly being used. Racialist politics has been the driving force, the fuel that drives the machine that the Democrats have been running right now. And that's the fact, whether you like it or not. Now, give me a policy outside of racialist thought. Give me a policy outside of racialist thought that is done that is seen by the Democrats. You can't give me one. And that's the thing. You know, it was allowed for this waterhead ass bitch right here. It was allowed for this waterhead ass bitch right here to call a demographic of people super predators, and the sitting president, the current president of the United States, agreed with it. So much so that he had 42 offenses that could lead to the death penalty in his Biden crime bill. Does anyone remember this?
And,
Yeah, I do.
and the wildest thing is, you'll still have people say to this day that one of the most one of the greatest presidents for so-called black people was Bill Clinton. The fuck?
That's so
Are you correct?
laughable.
People will still say Bill Clinton and Barack Obama.
Because they seen him on the Arsenio Hall show blowing
I
a
was just about to bring
fucking
that up.
saxophone around,
Yeah.
I was just about to bring that up.
playing some shitty R&B blues riffs.
And all his wife had to do, they bring up the super predator shit when she runs. Next thing you know, she's on TV talking about how she keeps hot sauce in her purse, and everybody just washes their hands like, oh well, she's down now. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
But we digress. And that was a fun digression right there. Hold on. We're talking about these pieces of shit right here. These pieces of shit, to me, are the supreme definition of opportunist. Now, as we tend to do as people of social media, we tend to try to attract attention with our social media posts, especially during times of upheaval, of great social stress and strain. And in order to deem ourselves relevant or remain up to date in relevant topics, we tend to involve ourselves via text on our social media. Like I said, Miss Alicia Garza posted this after the acquittal of George Zimmerman on her Facebook page. That post became a hashtag by Miss Miss is an honorary thing too. See, my grandmama taught me manners, and I'm using it at the wrong time. She's not a miss. Patricia Colors, finding the opportunity, seeing the opportunity, created the hashtag of a statement that was made on Facebook and created, to me, they created a business from it. And you heard from
After
this how it
Zimmerman's
happened.
acquittal, activist Alicia Garza posted on Facebook, "Black people, I love you. I love us. Our lives matter. Black lives matter."
Garza's friend Patrice Couleur shared the final 3 words as a hashtag. On the 7th of March 2013, Black Lives Matter was first seen on Twitter. Writer and immigrant rights activist Opal Tometi offered to build social media platforms for it, where activists could connect with one another.
Yeah. Now, in no time, there is no time before the current has activism had the accessibility to reach millions with just a text. No other time, in none of the current act, and mind you, many of these faces that you see on screen, I've throughout my time on this planet, I've researched, I've studied. Some I agree with more than others, but nonetheless, these people on screen, many of them didn't have the accessibility to reach out to so many people. And that is why Black Lives Matter became such a movement. Because of a fucking hashtag.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the motherfuckers on the camera right now, they're agents.
Now the thing is,
If you think about it honestly, the way they did it, hashtag Black Lives Matter is no different than hashtag lit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is, we all know that hashtags, now what comes first, the trend or the hashtag? The hashtag or the trend? The thing is, we know we're in a time where we can create hashtags, and those hashtags in itself become hashtags can go viral. and the thing is, if you catch the right wave, you can monopolize from that which you create. Now, the statement Black Lives Matter to me is redundant. It's a redundant statement. First of all, you would have to define and you would have to recognize yourself as black first in order for this statement to have any relevancy, whether big or small, in your thoughts. But we have to also understand that through this, through that statement, many other hashtags were born. And that's the thing. Through this statement that gained popularity on Twitter, we have All Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, all these different redundant hashtags that really have no significance when it comes to the true problems within society.
It's just another mode of separatism.
Exactly.
Now you need to rep your hashtag. Funny thing is, I was naive enough at the very beginning of this shit. When it first came out, I saw an All Lives Matter hashtag. I was like, okay. All right, what we doing here? We trying to bond the human race as one race and one people. And then I saw who was repping it. I was like, never mind. Y'all just racist, you fucking assholes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Never mind.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
You
okay, you're actually not onto something good. I get it. Yeah,
yeah,
keep going down this fucking road.
you're just cloaking your racism. Okay.
Well, that's just like the fucking protesters. I laughed my ass off early on. We got one side protesting social justice and police brutality, and then on the other side we got people protesting keeping their businesses open, keeping their schools open, and basically keeping a middle class in this country. And then somehow these two looked at each other and decided to start combating each other at the protest. I was like, you do know y'all both showed up to protest the same fucking people, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, Democrats and so-called black people's businesses had to shut down as well.
Exactly.
And correct me if I'm wrong, plenty of so-called white people being killed by the police. So instead of looking at each other like the enemy, should have been the fucking time that everybody came together and tried to take some shit over. But no, can't do it. You got rioting in the streets called peaceful protest on the news. You got old fucking people walking through the Capitol called fucking domestic terrorists.
Oh yeah.
The funny thing is, all these people claim to be going against the same motherfucking adversary, which would be the government, the hierarchy, the oppressor, the man, but still find a way to bicker and talk shit about each other instead
But
of
hold
the
on.
common goal.
But hold on. Let me ask you this. How can you call yourself an activist for the people when you know that the majority of the people, not not even on this soil, but the world, the majority of the people around the world are poor, disenfranchised, one or two checks away from being homeless? This is your majority. How can you claim to represent that majority and you're buying mansions?
Mm.
I go back to what you said, Jaywalski, about Marxism and how it's a class system, and the ruling class are in every way separated from the working class. And to me, it just seems that she's working more for herself in the ideological sense of Marxism than in the sense of freedom, justice, and equality as presented by El Haj Malik El Shabazz or uh, Martin Luther King, for example. This to me is the biggest blatant form of hypocrisy ever. These motherfuckers got fat off the struggle of people, off people's hardship. And it is proven that they don't give a fuck. For real, for real. For real. They don't give a fuck. I can prove it. Do you want proof? Here we go. What does that say right there, Jay Walski?
Mothers criticize BLM activists for profiting off their dead sons. Oh yeah, I live here in Louisville. Breonna Taylor's mother's on wax that they didn't do nothing for her but grift. The only thing you get is a couple murals that was painted by artists from Louisville, some TV coverage, another
whom Black Lives Matter, whom Black Lives
hashtag
Matter,
for them, a hashtag
whom
Breonna Taylor, and then they just move on to the next city. It's like a fucking it's like a goddamn circus.
Look at all those celebrities that was screaming Breonna Taylor's name and talking all that. They ain't said shit about her since. Didn't Steven Jackson come down there to visit?
Yeah, supposedly.
Louisville?
Yeah, it probably did. I mean, like I said, during that summer, we had U-Haul trucks full of Antifa showing up. I mean, yeah, it was popping in Louisville. And then, like I said, but that's what? Before an election. As soon as the election happened, none of that shit, there ain't been a protest or nothing in Louisville since. But I don't see where
and it should be known.
I don't see where any of the issues that they were protesting and outraged about, I don't see where any of those issues have been resolved.
Because in reality, they are police shooting chasers. Now we got to understand that when the hashtag itself was born, that case was not a police shooting. It was a fucking motherfucker playing cop. That piece of shit George Zimmerman playing cop murdered Trayvon Martin. And then you have to understand, this is during the Obama years. There was a lot of policies around policing first term. Remember, first term, Obama, there was a lot of talk about policing and how policing was done, even before the Trayvon Martin case. And then Eric Garner. See, understand, Eric Garner, summer of 2014, that is when the show really got on the road for Black Lives Matter as a network. That's how it happened. But we're moving a little too fast. Let's do a review on what was just said by Jay Walski and D about how the mothers feel about Black Lives Matter.
Mothers criticize BLM activists for profiting off their dead sons. She's taking the money and running, says Tamir Rice's mom, speaking about Patrisse Cullors, the co-founder of BLM, for buying $1 million homes while these mothers got nothing. Then she called everyone white supremacists who question where the money came from to buy the homes. Breonna Taylor's mother called out Black Lives Matter Louisville and Kentucky rep Attica Scott, using the word fraud to describe them both in a Facebook post. Lisa Simpson, the mother of Richard Rashard, has said she never received a penny from BLM. Samaria Rice, the mother of Tamir Rice, has never met Patrisse Cullors and believes she is only leaving Black Lives Matter to escape the heat over the $3 million property portfolio.
Anyone has a statement on that?
Yeah, I think it's disgusting. And the thing is, the thing that really pisses me off about this whole situation, honestly, is that good people who really wanted to change in their community took on this banner and this moniker. And even not even just these parents of these people who were murdered being just fucking used and abused for their family and not getting anything in return. But there's actual like local chapters in communities that took on this name and try to do shit for their community with no funding. They got to do their own funding. I seen a report back when everybody was demonizing the Proud Boys situation, which I am not a Proud Boy. I don't back them or nothing like this. But the point is, I seen an interview with a leader of a local Black Lives Matter branch and the leader of a local Proud Boys branch do an interview together, talking together, trying to work together to do community action. Never seen the light of day. Never seen the light of day. And
because you would never hear a story. You would never hear a story like that in the mainstream media, because the name of the game is separation.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and I mean I understand that completely, but I think that just goes to show you more of the hypocrisy of this bullshit. Like, you could show two factions that are supposed to be mortal enemies actually coming together to do good for the people, but you can't do that. But you'll just take the money and run. That's what I'm saying. Like, this whole thing, that's the most thing that I think that would pisses me off about it is there's actually people that took your brand and try to do something good with it, and you just shit all over them and gave them zero help. And that's the thing to me. It's like, stop taking
a
on these
universal.
monikers and these popular hashtags. If you want to do something for your community, you just got to do your own. Stop taking on these brands of these fucking motherfuckers that ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, you took on the symbol, a universal symbol for freedom, justice, and equality, which is this symbol right here. A universal symbol that's been used by many social movements throughout time. This symbol right here, and you turned it into this.
Yeah. You know, almost, I mean, it's like they always do with symbols. Like, traditionally, the swastika was a symbol for peace.
Yeah.
And then they grabbed a hold of it and turned it evil. Just like that fist was supposed to mean something. And now it means nothing. Honestly, it's worthless. When you see that from their brand, it has nothing of value to it other than just a cash cow.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a fucking shame.
People used to have that on their shirts, on their tattoos, on their logos, on medallions, and wore it proudly because it was supposed to mean something. You know what I mean? It's just like they just ran it through the mud. Now it's just really, if you look at the way they've done shit and their funding and the lack of anything back to the community, now they've made it a joke.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very disheartening. And the fact that never before in history can you use social movements claiming to be for the people and line your own pockets. Never before. Like I said before in the first installment of this series, many of our social leaders fighting for the people, freedom, justice, and equality for the people, died broke. Now it's to the point where blatant capitalism is being practiced, and oh, as me and Walski understands that politics itself is dirty, but when you add capitalism into play, oh, the shit gets even more dirty. And though it may be good capitalism to do what they have done, it is absolutely bad politics when it comes from a realm of representing the people.
Yeah, and the thing is, you think about it, you take money from the people, you pander and lie to them, and don't give them nothing in return, then have the audacity to turn around and look at other people in your country and call them racist oppressors.
Yeah, because you ask questions about questionable suspect spending of donated funds, and the thing is, we have to understand this group, this organization, this front organization, and I told you this was a front organization. Remember everything that was in play at the time. Remember the campaign when this waterhead bitch right here was being funded by this motherfucker. George Soros. Now this is where me correcting my error comes into play. I have said many a times that George Soros funds Black Lives Matter. Now that statement is a half truth. When we're playing the game of semantics and politics, this is a half truth. If you go into any public forum, any political forum, and make that statement, everybody's gonna look at you like a fool. Okay? But if you say correctly that George Soros funds Black Lives Matter through his open society foundations, then you would absolutely be correct. See, the thing is, there is many misinformation and disinformation sites and mainstream news media outlets out there that will try to convince you that this man right here, man is a honorary term. Fuck. This male humanoid right here is responsible for the vast economic growth of Black Lives Matter. And now knowing that Black Lives Matter is now a global network foundation. It's international. Black Lives Matter is international. You can find them in Great Britain, which there is Black Lives Matter leadership corruption in Great Britain. It's everywhere with these motherfuckers. Many of the leadership within Black Lives Matter are trying to line their pockets, trying to line their own pockets. But again, I digress. There is information out there claiming that George Soros has no connection with Black Lives Matter. Well, I want to point you into some articles right here. This was in July 13th, 2020. And the millions, the hundreds of millions that was given for what? People need to ask themselves, what role does those money grabbing motherfuckers. You're absolutely right. One must ask themselves, what role does George Soros have within this whole scheme? And it is absolutely a scheme. Now, I want to make sure that you understand what's going on. This is from their own website, the Open Society Foundation. And just to put it in perspective, this is the president was the president of the Open Society Foundation. Now, in order to do some fact checking, people will ask, is George Soros funding Black Lives Matter? Well, do a little Google search. This is reported by Reuters. This report reads as follows. Jay Walski, could you do me the honor?
Yeah, man. Let's see here. Open Society Foundations donates to groups worldwide. Here, some of their previous donations, including to Black Lives Matter, Planned Parenthood, have been subject to controversy in the U.S. Here. It is unclear if the foundation has donated to Black Lives Matter again in the last month.
Now
Think about that too. What everybody likes to know and understand about Planned Parenthood and its
keep your thought real quick.
strategic areas.
Keep your thought real quick. I need to say this. Understand, George Soros was a donor to the Democratic Party when Hillary Clinton was running for president. Continue on.
But yeah, I mean, just think about that. So he's got a foundation that donates to Black Lives Matter and Planned Parenthood, which are abortion clinics all throughout so-called black communities. Wouldn't you find that odd that you would give money to a organization that says it's supposed to uplift and uphold and rebuild the black community, also at the same time giving money to an organization that murders black babies? So if you would think about just where the money's going to, you should, I mean, that should tell you right there that obviously Black Lives Matter does not have any kind of a good initiative at all. I mean, it's a double negative for funding both. If one of them is supposed to be some grand social justice machine and the other one is a murder machine. I mean, everything. Exactly. I mean, if you look at it, everything mirrors hypocrisy.
And it mirrors a scheme to hide information and to give you the idea of benevolence when it's not. See, the fact that the Open Society Foundation funds Black Lives Matter and openly admits it on their website and in other outlets like Reuters, but never questioned when it comes to the fact that George Soros gave millions to Hillary Clinton representing the Democratic Party. Does anyone understand the game that's being played? And like Dee said earlier, how the Democrats use race and race politics in order to drive their campaign. It's a fact. It's a fact, folks. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. It's a fact. And we have also shown you that, yes, George Soros, through his foundation, the Open Society Foundations, have been giving Black Lives Matter millions. And you have to know that the Open Society Foundation gives grants to socio-political movements that seek to bring about change within the earth. This man has given out billions all around the globe in the guise of philanthropy.
Now, here's the biggest thing when you think about all the money he donated, all the money that probably went to a GoFundMe account, all the other organizations that donate, all the companies that donate. You remember all the companies that were like made sure that they put some kind of propagated social justice message on their company so they didn't get fucking protested against. All them donating all this money And here's the thing: where did it go? Where did
Oh,
it
we
go?
know it. We know where it went.
Yeah, but
We know it.
well, I'm asking that for the viewers. Anybody who believed in this and this and that. Anybody who gave up their own money. Where's the return to the people? Any schools? Any schools get remodeled? Is there a laundry list of lawyers getting people that were locked up unjustly out of prison? Is there any neighborhoods getting cleaned up? I mean, is there any dope getting taken off the streets? You know what I mean? So my thing is, they did what they did and took the money, and that's fucking horrible. But the people who blindly follow these silly ass situations, you got to open your eyes to it, man. Like, you might have thought you was doing a good thing. You might have believed it. You might have really wanted it to be a thing. But, dude, if it's popular, if it's a hashtag, man, it's probably bullshit, man.
Especially in a political, socio-political arena. Absolutely, it's something you need to make sure that it is there's not a game being ran on you when it comes to situations like this, because the thing is, how do you hold social movements accountable from here on out? How do you hold your leaders accountable from here on out when you see that that leaders can be made, and these leaders are not, they're the papers ain't checked. Nobody's checking these papers. Nobody's checking their background. Nobody's checking to see if these people are credible enough to be worth following.
Yeah, really, people aren't even checking what these people are saying out of their own mouth. Like we said earlier, I mean, it says right there, Marxist BLM founder. That in itself is completely fucking, just ass backwards. So when you heard her come out and say, I'm a Marxist, and you read the definition of it, you should have known right then and there. Don't give another fucking damn. Nobody pays attention.
Especially when you realize that she hold, well, you understand, Miss, oh fuck, I did it again. Miss is an honorary term. Patrice Cullors herself has resigned from Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. I said that correctly. Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. She has resigned from she has resigned her station. She has resigned from her station due to the fact that she was catching so much heat about all these mansions that are well, let's just say it, they're in so-called white neighborhoods. Black Lives Matter. But she made sure to move and make sure to buy property that is far away from the so-called black.
Yeah, and not only, don't you think it's funny you see people, high-ranking people at CNN, high-ranking CEOs of these big corporations, anytime that there's a little smut on their name, anything hits the news,
Factory. That's a fact.
For a little bit of unsavory, they just simply step down. They don't have to turn over all their money. They don't end up going to prison, going to court. Going none of this. They just simply step down. She'll still have these mansions. She'll still have money coming in. I'm sure there's a side organization that she owns shares of that gets funneled money. I mean, there's no way her money just stopped.
No, and I mean, come on. Bernie Madoff is still walking around like shit, you know what I'm saying? Like his shit don't stink. Like, are you serious? Like, I mean, we allow these motherfuckers when we know that there's irrefutable proof of corruption. We allow these motherfuckers to breathe and to live. And I'm not advocating any physical violence, but you have to hold your leaders accountable. You have to. There has to be a some form of checkbook when it comes to our socio-political leaders, our politicians, anyone claiming to represent the people.
And the wild thing is, they sold you on so much hatred and outrage for the previous president. But then they take your money, they pander to you, they run off into the sunset and buy mansions. And where's the outrage for them? Nothing. Nothing at all. I mean, you decided you got to get Agent Orange out of the office. You back Biden. With all his history of bullshit, you still back and put him in. And what did you get? Empty grocery stores, ridiculously high gas prices.
A World War III that was absolutely a cause of an administration that he was a part of. Do you understand that?
And my thing is, it ain't even that you was silly enough to think that your vote mattered and you voted for him and you got hit with the okie doke. That's, you know what? I'll accept that. You listened to the TV, you voted for this guy because you thought Donald J was the worst. This guy got in and he didn't do no better. But here's my thing. Once it's the realization that they did not do nothing, like I said, you have so much outrage for a guy that you can't even give me 5 racist things that come out of his mouth, but he's a bona fide racist. He's a Russian collusionist, but you have no proof of it. But you were outraged so much that you had to get him out of office. You backed a dude, and it's proof by proof by proof, daily, weekly, monthly in your country that it was an awful decision. But there's no outrage. You just take it, oh, well, I guess we made a mistake. We got to live with it. This is the time you outrage. This is the time you show your disdain. You were lied to, and you don't give a fuck. This is when you take to the streets. But no.
There's no way. There's no way this bitch could be working on her 5th mansion and people not up in arms, especially those,
You had a summer where you would
that
show up
have.
in a residential neighborhood and terrorize the neighbors in that neighborhood over your so-called oppression in this country. But this bitch takes your money and buys mansions and nobody shows up in her front yard. Nobody's got a picket sign. That's why they do this shit, because the people who they pander to allow them to get away with it. If every time she looked out of her fucking mansion window, there was hundreds of people in the streets with bullhorns, well, the bitch would understand that, oh, she fucked up.
Yeah.
But no, y'all ain't nobody's gonna do that. And that's the problem. What do you call it? Subjective outrage. You should be twice as outraged to the people who were supposed
Subjective outrage is a good one, but it's
lied to you than you are the motherfuckers that you don't even know why you're mad. Every time somebody's like, Donald Trump was racist, I'm like, well, what did he say racist? You know, racist shit. You can't tag it to nothing, but you hated the man. These people lied to your face and you let him walk around. It's crazy.
I have video. I have video of Donald Trump twice denouncing the Ku Klux Klan and white supremacist groups. I have this video. I have these videos. He did it twice during a national address. He did it twice. Obama did not once do such a thing. Not once.
And not only that, you got video of Donald Trump denouncing the Klan and white supremacy. And there's video of Joe Biden giving a heartfelt eulogy at a leading Klan member's funeral. And my thing is, this ain't even some pro-Trump, I told you so, he's the greatest, make America great again. I think that motherfucker's complicit in fucking with us too. But at the same time,
absolutely,
you had so much outrage for him over just lies and bullshit, but it's fact that these other people that you backed lied to your fucking face, and not a word. I mean,
and so arrogant to absolutely think that they can get away with it.
yeah. And well, here's the
I mean,
thing.
popping champagne, having overly expensive dinners, and in their overly expensive 6,000 feet property. Yeah, I mean 6,000 square feet property. I mean, it's just yeah. I mean, and the thing is, where do we go from here? Do we allow them? Do we allow them to jump back out in the streets the next time the mainstream news media decides to run in rotation the shooting of a so-called black man by a police officer in the streets, whilst ignoring the constant violence amongst so-called black people on each other throughout the nation? Let's ignore that. Let's ignore the fact that Planned Parenthood itself aborts hundreds of thousands of babies, so-called black babies, a year. A year. But we talk about Black Lives Matter. In what context? Because once you say things like, once you have a mind like mine, or have a similar thought, and you're not easily swayed by catchphrases, you question shit. And then you see that there's one organization claiming to be philanthropic, funding them both.
Yeah, you don't find that odd.
Which leads me to my point about Act Blue. Now, it needs to be also noted that this is not an error that I'm correcting. This is a clarification. And it needs to be noted that there are a lot of disinformation, misinformation platforms out there claiming that Act Blue have no connection with Black Lives Matter and the Democratic Party. This is a falsehood. If you go to the Act Blue website and just put in their search engine, Black Lives Matter, many different chapters throughout the nation will pop up. Then afterwards, I want you to put in any Democratic politician's name into that same search engine. And you will also see that many of those politicians on the Democratic Party side receive their donations through Act Blue charities. There are no Republicans on this site.
I mean, it's the same game they've been running. This is the same shit the Clintons ran with the fucking Haiti money.
Yeah.
Donate to Haiti, these poor Haitians. They went down there, build two fucking piece of shit, goofy looking houses with the money and ran.
Yeah.
The money, I'm sure. I wonder how much millions of dollars got donated to Flint, Michigan, and they still can't drink their fucking water. In America, they can't drink their water. But we can give billions of dollars to other countries for war.
Yeah, when we lived fat off of the policy of not involving ourselves in foreign entanglements. But no, you can't say that shit no more. It's not politically correct.
But and here's the thing too. We know that they can just print off billies, just however much money. So that's the thing that like Flint, impoverished areas, fucked up schools, and they say what? Lack of funding. Lack of funding. They print the money. There's never a lack of funding when you own the fucking printer. So that's how you know it's all bullshit. Millions of dollars going to what? Nothing. That's it. I think the silver lining in this is we cannot trust or believe the government for our well-being. I think that's
and you better run your numbers.
Story.
And you better run the numbers on all of your social political leaders, all of them, especially if they're talking about they are grassroots in the streets leaders. Because we have too many examples of these so-called grassroots. First of all, it's the examples. It's ridiculous that we have so many examples, but we have too many examples of leaders claiming to be leaders only to line their own pockets in the end. They're no different than, to me, and this is my opinion, this is only mine, they're no different than evangelical preachers.
It's exactly what I was about to say. The funny thing is, this don't surprise me because Clethro Dollar told everybody he needed a Learjet to spread the word, and hot damn it, he got it.
That's a fact.
So, I mean, they've been running this game.
So, again, I wanna say, for anyone that wants to challenge me on this Act Blue website shit and how it ties into Black Lives Matter and the Democratic Party, let's play that game any fucking time you please. I'm all ready for it, baby. There's nothing you can say to me. There's nothing you could fucking show me that's gonna prove me otherwise. That's gonna prove what I have displayed to the contrary. No, it's not. So fuck out of here with that bullshit. Yes, Act Blue is a slush fund. Act Blue is absolutely a slush fund for the Democrats. And they're using Black Lives Matter donations. Yes, they're using a percentage of Black Lives Matter. And please quote me on that, because when it comes out in the next 10 years, you're going to look at me and be like, you were fucking right. And it will come out, folks. But we continue, because there's now this leads me to my last and my final point. I presented this story in the first edition of Blatant, Lucrative Manipulations. This clip right here.
Leader of a group called Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta was arrested by the FBI today on fraud charges. Agents raided a home in Toledo, Ohio, and arrested Sir Major Page, whose real name is Tyreek Conyers Page. He's accused of using more than $200,000 in donations from the Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta social media page to pay for personal items. That includes food, entertainment, furniture, and tailored suits. The FBI says he told people asking about the money that it would be going to causes related to social justice and the George Floyd case.
It goes back to my point about leadership, don't it? Now, within my display of that clip right there, I made an error saying that he himself is a representative leader of the Ohio chapter of Black Lives Matter. This is not true. He helps in support of Black Lives Matter Ohio, but he was administratively responsible for Black Lives Matter Atlanta, the organization, and the website. If you further read into this story, now that correction has been made, and I'm glad to do so. Again, this goes back to the point of checking leadership. And when we don't have checks and balances on our leaders, and they're able to create such forms of manipulation, and there's no accountability, there's no justice as it pertains to their action. And I was taught that justice is the reward or penalty for your act. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It is what it is. Justice is what is done for your actions. It's a reward or it's a penalty for your action. And that's what justice is. When we fail to hold our leaders accountable, these manipulations are allowed to live and grow. And that's why you have so-called motherfucking political social leaders buying mansions.
Yeah, which, that's another breakdown of the word justice. Oh, it ain't for them, just us.
Exactly, just us. And then when you have an organization that admits within their own mission statement to promoting the destruction of what is known as the nuclear family, nuclear family, well, we have a problem there. Because how can you say Black Lives Matter and we know that in order to make more so-called Black lives, we need some form of family. Some form of family. I mean, if you want a prosperous, successful, progressive Black life, maybe he should have a stable, functioning, supportive family, or she should have a stable, functioning, supportive family.
And that'll let you know too. We know one of the devastating factors from the crime bill was the displacement of fathers and homes. And then we have a group saying that they are for these people.
Thank you, mandatory minimum sentencing.
Yeah, but then we have a group says that they are for the people, but in their mission statement they say that they are against the ideal of the plutonic family. Well, that right there just lets you know that they can't paint you the picture of what's really going to help you. What's really they can't say we need strong family structures, because that would allude to them actually trying to make some shit right around here. So they even got to put it in their messaging that they're not trying to help you. Why would any kind of faction for social justice and for people's rights, why would they have any issue with a family? What does that even have to do with it? What does that have to do with police brutality? What does that have to do with disenfranchised communities? What does that have to do with any of that? Mass incarceration. What is the family? You know what I'm saying? How do you dice that up? other than the fact that you're just blatantly telling everybody, we're just going to take your money and run. We ain't trying to fucking help shit. And knowing that you're propped up by a guy who wrote the 94 crime bill, which was a direct result to fathers being displaced from homes. Well, if that's your guy and that's who you're telling everybody to vote for, well, then, if he didn't think the family was important in your community, well, then neither should we.
And if you do a little research, you would also find out that since Patrice Cullors has ran off with the money, she has been promoting a socio-political catchphrase known as climate justice. I wonder where she got that from. She's promoting climate justice.
When
But
you don't need to pander for votes, but you still need
there's
to
no
pander for
connection.
dollars.
There's no connection with the Democratic Party and political pandering and racialist fucking manipulation by so-called leaders. No, not at all.
That's riding the grift. First, we have an election coming up. Well, I need to pander to all these people so we can push these votes. Well, now that we got those votes, well, I don't need to worry about these people and their votes anymore, but I still need to pander for dollars. So what's gonna be around? And what's a safe thing for me to tell people to look into that's not going to stir up all these people and put them back in the streets? Oh, the good old environment. Because she can't keep pushing the racialist agenda. She can't keep talking about the man because her man's in office.
Yeah, and you can't push the racialist agenda because you refuse to speak about the annual abortion rate. You refuse to speak about the annual abortion rate here in America, and you refuse to speak on so-called black-on-black violence. Hold on. You refuse to speak on black-on-black violence, and you need another police shooting. You need. And there has been a few that you have not. You see how that works? Where in the fuck is Black Lives Matter? Does it really matter anymore? Ish.
No. I'd say the next time it's going to matter is the next time they want to bring up a conservative adversary, which will be another election year. As soon as there's a reason to talk about Republicans and conservatives, then we'll see them again.
Well, right now the big news is right now we all know that it's hard it's hard out here for a pimp, especially when we got the Ukraine war going on. All this shit going on with World War III and all these nation states being involved in the bullshit. See, the thing is, it's hard to get news rotation right now, baby. And these motherfuckers, they completely know that. That's why might as well consolidate, take the money and run, you pieces of shit.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's no more money for the left in the so-called black community right now. That grift is gone and past. So, like you said, climate change. She's going to grift to the next thing, I'm surprised she hasn't got the hashtag Ukraine Lives Matter bullshit. It's just the next grift, the next thing to pander to people about, the next 24-hour news cycle.
And my thing is, if we collectively allow this shit to happen, it will continue to happen. That's why it's she could. That's why she and the leading branch of Black the leadership of Black Lives Matter can go out and buy mansions and have luxurious dinners and do all this decadent shit right in front of your motherfucking face, playing in your face with the shit, and you say nothing. They can continue to do it. You say nothing. You don't hold them accountable, and they're going to continue to do it.
That's a guaranteed fact.
So I consider this motherfucking vampire dead. Again, the information has been presented. Do as you see fit. My whole thing is you should hold your motherfucking leaders accountable. You should make sure that your leader is worth following. You should make sure that your leaders are not pieces of shit trying to line their own pockets. J-Wall, do you have any last words?
Yeah, I would second what you said, but I would even add to that. I would say become the leader that you see fit. Stop believing these people. Stop looking at start making moves to do things that you think are right and make moves. Don't wait on somebody to tell you. Don't wait on the news to tell you. And it ain't got to be nothing spectacular. You ain't got to start your own big organization. So your fucking 80-year-old woman walking out of Kroger's, help her with her bags. What do they say? Be the change you want to see. But
exactly.
Don't wait for the TV to tell you who's gonna who to ride with, who to backdoor, who this, that. You live in your community. You look around, you see what's fucked up with it, what's wrong with it. Well, this snowball effect. You know what I mean? The thing is, we got to do whatever we want around here for us because it's obvious. There's no hands coming down from the top on any aspect of anything. I don't think we can make grand change and rewrite history and change the world, but you could also make small moves to change just shit in your day-to-day life. And that's going to speak more volumes for you and your closest circle and your soul than anything these silly motherfuckers going to do. Any check you can write to send to one of these empty holes of fucking money is pointless.
Mm-hmm.
You got an old-ass neighbor? Take the Herbie to the Kirby once a week. You've done more right there than this bitch has ever done for anybody. I guarantee it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that being said, I'm going to end again with this video just to make sure that fucking wooden stake is driven deep into that vampire's heart. This is what you need to know about your current so-called fucking leaders.
Mothers criticize BLM activists for profiting off their dead sons. She's taking the money and running, says Tamir Rice's mom, speaking about Patrisse Cullors, the co-founder of BLM, for buying million-dollar homes while these mothers got nothing. Then she called everyone white supremacists who question where the money came from to buy the homes. Breonna Taylor's mother called out Black Lives Matter Louisville and Kentucky rep Attica Scott, using the word fraud to describe them both in a Facebook post. Lisa Simpson, the mother of Richard Rashard, has said she never received a penny from BLM. Samaria Rice, the mother of Tamir Rice, has never met Patrisse Cullors and believes she is only leaving Black Lives Matter to escape the heat over the $3 million property portfolio.
That was my man Jay Walski with his last word. I am Irk the Nerve, aka Mr. Somebody. Thank you for watching. Somebody gotta say this shit.
Somebody gotta say this shit, so this a bitch. Fuck your government. I'm hesitant to holler out that that I'm in. I represent hollow points and Mac tears. But don't think them shots coming out of them. Last thing that you see is Nat Turner's grin. I'm a savage, not the average white boy, my friend. We ain't shooting, fuck red, white, and blue. Earth day nerve, like militias in the booth. Spit that word, like the wisdom in the tooth. Get that herb, like I need a blunt or two. Fuck y'all all, each and every one of you. You niggas wanna stay asleep, fuck you motherfuckers too. All you niggas ain't loyal, fuck the government soil. Bring heat to the planet, to this motherfucker boil. There's no more talk, through the graveyard walk. I talk for the slave from the grave.